Hey people, what's up? It's Peak out here in Singapore. It's 10 o'clock on Sunday. I'm looking out over the week like, dang, I got a lot of work to do, but I'm excited. I'm ready to tackle some stuff. I've been doing a lot of deep work, a lot of reading, a lot more digesting. Like I had mentioned before, I went through a week of very intense study with Maston Kipp and his Get Ideal Clients Masterclass. Now, more than getting ideal clients, I actually understood more about myself, and I feel better about the way I'm about to approach my business. So, excuse me. With that being said, I've kind of been doing everything but today. I cleaned, I did laundry, I cooked. I cooked my ass off today. And there were so many different things I wanted to do in between. There's so many different downloads, so many different ideas that came to me, and I didn't get to act on all of them, but that's okay because I know in the end, the ones that matter will recur. I will find them again. One of the things that I wanted to do really badly this morning was first thing in the morning, as soon as we had breakfast, we went down to the store to go do some shopping. And the idea being that I wanted to teach baby girl the value of money. So we made the list before we left because I needed her to know that, if we're organized, especially on a Sunday, because everybody and their mother is at the store on the Sunday. I wanted to make sure that we had a list, we had like a goal, these are the things we need to go pick up, and invariably we'll pick up extra stuff anyway. But I needed to have the goal in mind, and I needed for her to start looking at it like, okay, this is the amount of money we want to spend, and we want to try really hard not to go over the budget. It's something I really need her to understand because the value of money is not something I understood. I went through a phase where sometimes we had lots of money and sometimes we didn't. Growing up, I got to a point where I felt like, I really, really wanted something, but I never had the money or the guts to ask my mom for stuff like makeup because it was unnecessary at the time. So I resorted to stealing. I had a really, really bad compulsion to steal. So all of that's fixed now. I feel pretty good about it, but I understand. The worth of money is something really big to me, and it's helped me when I hit rock bottom a lot. I make money stretch like no one else, and I wanted to pass that on to her because at some point she's going to need it. So we made a list and we looked at the most expensive stuff on the list. At the time, when we made the list, rice was at the top of the list. It's not that it was urgent, we needed it right now, but rice is one of those big ticket items that I'd rather have on hand instead of run out and then have to run down and get it. Yeah. We use basmati rice. Now, there are plenty of other types of rice that we could go and get. We could get ponni rice. We could do jasmine rice. We could do sticky rice. There's tons of rice, okay? Y'all know. Okay. But the point being that we use basmati rice, it lasts us about a month and it costs 20 bucks. So at one shot, it looks like a big investment. But if you were to put aside $5 a week, it's not that big a deal, right? But I needed her to understand one shot, that means it blows our budget a little bit out of water. So I wanted to show her the difference between saving up and buying certain things and seeing how much we can get for the same amount. So let's look at it like a scale, to a weighing scale. So on one side, if we put the rice and the worth of rice and the price of rice, how much could we get for about the same price, and what would that look like? So we went and got all the vegetables and stuff today, like seriously. I cooked rice this morning on our way to the store, and we got vegetables and stuff. We ended up spending 30 bucks instead of 20, but we got tons of food. If you were looking at my Insta stories this morning, you would have seen, everything that we bought. I think we bought 2 bunches of round spinach. We had a bunch of green onions. We bought regular red onions, a bag of potatoes. What else did we buy? We got 1.5 kilos of tomatoes. We got apples. We went and bought apples. We got sour cream, a mix of shredded red and white cheddar. We got a small thing of bacon. What else did we get? Sour cream. I think that's about it, but we got a lot of food. So I was able to make a lot of food today, and I felt we got chickpeas. That's what it was. I made tomato curry. I made chickpea curry. I went ahead and made a new batch of chocolate chip cookies because we got to have them on hand. And then I also made loaded mashed potatoes tonight, so that was really good. So we made a lot of food, okay, but all for about $30, so not bad. And I needed her to understand that, if we'd have gone and got the rice, we would have had $10 left over if that was our last $30. I wanted to look at it like, if it's your last $30, this is what you need to prioritize, basically. So got that sorted. And while we were in the store, I really, really, really wanted to shoot it. I wanted to do an Insta story out of it, a couple of lives in different sections of the store, so we could promote NTC Fair Price, as well as piece it together later and make it into a YouTube video, kind of like a vlog. Now, I've been talking about a vlog forever and I still haven't gotten it done, but this is one of those things I really wanted to try and teach. Because this is the way I think. This is the way I'm raising my daughter to think. And we had a lot of great conversations about what's worth it and what's not. She obviously wants the easy stuff. She wants Oreos. And during the week when she has school, I don't mind, because the Oreos we buy are about $2. They come in a box of 6 sets of individually wrapped Oreos, 3 in a packet, right? So for about $2, and it's 6 days worth of snacks, no problem. I'm not worried about that. And it's not that bad. She doesn't eat that much sugar anyway, so it's great. Okay, it's easy, it's convenient, and she actually likes them, so it's great. But if I was looking at something to make that would last a little bit longer, I would rather make cookies rather than buy cookies, because the cost is spread out over a longer period of time. For instance, we buy all-purpose flour, but I use all-purpose flour for so many things. If I make mac and cheese, I use 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour to thicken up. I make a roux first, and then I make the white sauce, right? But cookies, I use bread flour and all-purpose flour. So it's about 2 cups of flour. It's a mix of the two, and then it's like 2 different kinds of sugar and eggs and browned butter. It's awesome. Okay, so the point is, when I buy those things, and honestly, a bag of flour here is about $3. If you think about how many times I use it, that shit lasts a long, long time. So I would much rather make stuff from scratch if I can help it. So we were talking about the worth of money, how long things stretch, and that's the way I wanted to learn to buy things. If you buy something, how long is it going to last you? And that's part of the reason we looked at, we mark it on our calendar actually when we buy rice, just to kind of keep track, so we know how long it takes to run through rice, and we know if we're, if something changes in our diets, if anything changes, if we run through it a little bit faster than usual, we can kind of track it down, yeah? And that's not to say that we're tracking everybody's diet inside the house. It's more like, how do we manage our money best? Because when we have money to spend, we don't think about where we spend it. Oh, we got it. We'll wait till the next check. We'll be fine. We'll be replenished. There's no problem. But when you don't have money, you really, really want to pinch your pennies at that point. And I don't ever want to get to a place where I go from having so much to suddenly having so little, because I've done that a lot in my life, where I suddenly don't know how to manage or cope, and I feel like I'm drowning, basically. I've had that happen so many times in my life that I've learned to make sure that I don't spend more than I have to, because I don't have to. This is how the rich stay rich, you guys. They do what they can, and the rest they put aside. They keep, they keep paying down their debts. They keep savings. This is how they have savings. They don't, the minute they get a bonus, they don't go out and splurge it on a handbag or vacation or go out to a fancy dinner. They do what they can. Now, we have a pretty marvelous life, I think. If you watch me on Instagram, you'll see that I cook all the time. We have really great food. I don't have any problems with my stomach because I know exactly what's in my food. You get me? So I don't play like that. I want to make sure that we live a really great life. So I am pretty adventurous when it comes to finding recipes and cooking and stuff like that. So that was the morning. Got back home, made baby girl do some homework, because yes, September holidays means I don't want her lounging around the whole damn week. I do want her to use her brain a little bit every day. So this is where we can actually catch up in areas of school where she's falling behind. So I give her a little bit of extra work her mind a little bit, make a game out of it, and she's good to go. Well, fast forward through the whole day, because, like I said, I cooked and cooked and cooked. She finally got back into her swimming class today. We had fun. She was exhausted. And then because it's a whole week of no school next week, I decided not to do her hair tonight. So I did something really simple, 2 pigtails with braids. And it took me 15 minutes, y'all. Like, seriously. I love it. It's only 15 minutes. But I don't feel like doing her hair every night for 15 minutes. You hear me? So I'd rather have her hair in twists or braids or cornrows, because it's better for her scalp, it's better for her hair, and damn it if her hair don't grow like wildfire when I do that. So there's that. We watched a movie, watched The Hustle tonight. it was kind of fun, and it was nice to hear my mom and my daughter laugh at the same time at the same things, because seriously, Rebel Wilson is really ridiculous. Um, Finished the movie, and to be honest, I was kind of beat. And my mom was tired. She said she had a headache. She was going to go to bed. And baby girl was like, "Oh my God, can we watch another movie?" And I was tempted to say yes. But to be honest, I couldn't sit there anymore. I was really tired. So I decided, I gave her another alternative. I said, "Hey, why don't we read another chapter of Harry Potter real quick? Because we've gone back through from the beginning to read Harry Potter. We've seen all the movies several times. I've never actually read the books. So I was kind of having fun reading out loud to her and just bonding that way, using her imagination more, because I need her to fall in love with reading, y'all, and not just Captain Underpants with all the damn cartoons. I wanted to fall in love with reading for real. Because I know so many times in my life, reading was a great companion for me, and it's the reason that I became so adept at writing and understanding, comprehension, all of that stuff. Grammar for sure, and spelling. But it really gave me a good grasp of the English language, and I want her to have the same, and the fact that it actually developed my imagination, like seriously. So yeah, I wanted to give her that. So I suggested, okay, why don't we not watch a movie, but let's read a book instead. Well, to be very succinct, the temper tantrum that followed was obviously followed by a lecture. And I felt really badly because I don't want to yell at her. I don't want to tell her off. I don't want to put her in her place. I just don't like her feeling bad, but I know it's part and parcel of life. So I told her off first to see if she would understand, because it started off with a temper tantrum. It wasn't like, hey, let's try and do this. She's like, no, but we can't. She didn't debate with me. She didn't negotiate with me. She went straight to temper tantrum. So I was like, what the heck? All right, what's going on? And I asked her, what's the problem? And she does this thing where she kind of does this deer in the headlights stare, I hate you kind of thing going on. And I was like, really? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't yell at you. Why are you so mad? Why are you at level 10 when you should be at like level 3 maybe? And after getting her to open up, and I hate to say this, getting her to open up and say something means I have to hurt her feelings. And I hate that, because I will ask her, why? What is going on? What are you upset about? What is this really about? Where do you want me to do this? What did you want to do? And she usually stands her ground, is very firm. She'll set her face, lock her jaw, and just like stare at me. And it sets my teeth on edge, but I can't really do much about it besides break the wall down so she'll break in and tell me what's going on. Now, I knew she went swimming for the first time in several weeks. It's been a long time, and I know the coach worked her a little bit. So I know she's kind of tired. Plus, she just had her hair done, so anytime we got to wash her hair and sit her down to do her hair, she's going to be tired. It just takes a lot out of her to have her hair washed and dried and all that stuff. So I knew she was tired. I knew she wasn't hungry because we had a really great dinner. We had fun. We ate dinner. But what I realized finally when I told her, hey, you can't be mad at me all the time. She said, you always have to work. I hate it when you always have to work. And I said, look, there is no one else here to do the work for me. I don't have a husband to share the work with me. I don't have a maid to do the work for me. I can't send you to tuition because I don't want to. You go to school, but right now you're on break, so I'm okay with that. But basically, it's me, and me to do all of these things. And I'm good with that. I love our life. I want this. I chose this. But it also means that when I tell you, hey, I'm tired, you got to take it at face value that, hey, mommy's tired. It's not saying that you can't have what you want. It's not saying that you get to miss out on this fun feeling you're having at the moment. It's more like, can we go snuggle in the bed and I read to you instead? Because I still want to spend time with you. I just don't want to be sitting in front of the TV. And it went through this whole rigmarole of me having to break down and tell her, hey, these are the roles I play in a day. And I had to remind her, and I hate rubbing it in her face, but every day, or I needed to remind her that every day it's me. I wake up in the morning and I start work. And work means Rasat one work. Work means getting her to school work. Work means once she goes to school, I go back to my own Rasat one work. And then I have to make dinner and pick her up from school and work on her homework. And it's never ending because honestly, from morning till night, I'm doing something. Granted, it's fulfilling work exactly what I want to be doing. It's the stuff that I want to be involved in. But that doesn't mean I don't get tired. And that doesn't mean that I'm not, spending energy somewhere. By the time I broke that down to her, she was in tears, and I felt like crap. I felt like death warmed over, really. I felt like shit. And mostly because I didn't want her to have to cry. I didn't want her to feel so badly that she felt like crying. I just needed her to understand that when I say I'm tired, it's not that I'm rejecting her. It's not that I'm saying that you can't have fun anymore, it's only time for me. I was saying that, hey, grandma's going to bed. Let's us go to bed too. We don't have to go to sleep, but we could go to bed. It was tough to explain to her. And that child-size fear of missing out really got me because she was adamant about how she wanted to watch a movie. Eventually, yeah, when she started crying and we sat down and we talked to each other about it, she was like, Ma, I know you work all the time. And I love you for it. And I really am happy that we have the life that we have because I used to miss the hell out of you when you used to go to work and used to come late and I had to be in daycare. Like, I never got to see you. I don't have that problem anymore, but it's different now. And I get it. Everything has its strengths and weaknesses. Being with me every day and me working all the time means that I don't always plan my time very well, which means the days that we could go downstairs and have a field trip or play at the playground, it doesn't always work out that way because I still need to cook, I still need to clean, I still need to do so many things. And yeah, I could get better at my work and my day and the way I do things. But it also matters when I get these downloads, when I get inspiration to do something, I need the flexibility. I depend on the flexibility. So I can't really say no to her that way either. So it took some doing, but we got to a place where we were both okay, and she wasn't mad at me, and I wasn't glossing over the fact that she was upset. We talked about it. Of course, there was some stubbornness first and some digging in my heels a little bit, but eventually we got out what was really going on, and she simply was just enjoying the laughter and camaraderie of watching a movie that she wanted it to continue, but I was not ready to continue. So it kind of changed her momentum, and she was very upset about that. Understandable, it would happen to anybody. So my lesson for you guys is sometimes, most times you're going to have situations like this, whether it's your spouse, your sibling, your child, whatever, okay, your parent even. You're going to have moments where y'all don't see eye to eye. You want something, the other person doesn't want something. And maybe they say it very clearly, and maybe they don't say it very clearly. But the point is, the best thing you can do, because you can't control the other person, the best thing you can do is make sure you're really listening to what they're saying. Make sure you're really paying attention. All senses on high alert, paying attention to what's going on. You can put the pieces together. You can really recognize what's really going on. Just because they don't say it doesn't mean they're not telling you somehow. Maybe they're tired. I know my daughter so well that when she cries at certain times of the day, I knew what she was crying for. When she got upset at certain functions, I knew why she was getting upset. Get to know the other person in your life so well that you know what's really going on. Because not all of us are very good at voicing what we want when we're upset. We go for topical solutions most times. And usually when it's a topical solution, we're wishy-washy about it. Sometimes you want a Band-Aid, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want to rub some dirt in. Sometimes you want to put Vaseline and leave it the hell alone. Maybe you want to put Dettol and clear the shit out of it, but it's going to burn in the process. Like, I don't know what the thing is. But when it's topical, it doesn't last very long. It means you're going to rub some ointment in it right now, and it's going to feel good for a moment, and then the next minute, it's going to pop up again. So to avoid the wishy-washy shit, to avoid seeing the same damn problem over and over again, my advice, dig in when you have a chance. Get to the bottom of it. Find out when you're upset. You're guaranteed to be upset at some point. You're guaranteed. No one on this beautiful earth, well, what's left of it, no one in the history of humankind has gone an entire lifetime they haven't been upset about something. And most of the time when it comes to human relations, is about managing expectations. You need to know what the other person is expecting. And you need to be able to communicate what you're expecting. And if the two of you are speaking the same language, brilliant. You can work on the solution. But if men are from Mars and women are from Venus and y'all talking Martians and, Venetians? I don't know. Whatever. The language of Venus people. Chances are you're going to get stuff lost in translation. It's going to go over your heads. So you might as well get to know the other person. Isn't that the reason we forced the entire world to learn English so all of us speak one language so we can all understand each other? So if we know enough to do that on a global scale, why not in the microcosm of a relationship? Why not ask questions, learn for sure what the other person wants in the relationship? Isn't that the key to happiness and peace, people? If I don't ask my daughter what's really going on, right when it happens, she's going to forget. She's not going to be able to recall and tell me later. She's 8. Look, I'm pretty lucky if I know what I ate for dinner yesterday. Okay? Mostly it's rice and curry because that's pretty much all we eat. But the point being, I'm not good at memory. How come my 8-year-old? And there's so many different pieces of information that comes across our days. It could be any one of a million things that set you off, and maybe you don't remember anymore because there's something new that set you off next. So when it happens in the moment, ask. Ask why. Show concern. Pay attention. There's always a good solution. But just like it takes 2 to have a fight and 2 to have a conversation, it takes 2 people completely dialed in, all senses, to understand each other enough to communicate well. I hope that helps you guys. I will catch you again soon. Bye.